Hello and welcome to Behind the DVD Shelf. I'm David Rose, the host of the DVD Shelf Movie Reviews.
And I am known as Binky Kincaid, Gristle McThornbody, Damien von Flugelschart, otherwise known as Andy Snyder, the host of DVD Shelf 4 and Flix, and welcome to my movie room.
And we thought we'd do something a little different today. You may or may not have heard of our videos or watched them before. So we thought that we would give you a little behind-the-scenes peek, I guess, let you know a little bit more about ourselves. So I guess without further ado, let's get started.
Enjoy! So our history. We do have a long history together.
We have history, yeah.
Known each other pretty much your whole life.
My whole life, well, because you're 3 years older than me.
Yes, exactly.
So our families lived across the street from each other since, well, before I was born. I don't know if
Since before I was born.
Okay.
Yep. And then, funny enough, we both moved to Columbus at different periods of time.
Yeah, so you went up to college, hated it. Moved back here.
Yeah.
I went to college.
Right when I came back.
Right.
But we met up long enough during that period in order to do some creative things together. God, what? Is that when we started AMV?
Do you remember?
Or no, it wasn't.
Do you remember where and this is perfect, you know, where we got back in touch. Do you remember where that was?
Some place involving movies.
Yeah.
Was it a movie theater or was it Media Play?
It was
Or
the DVD section at Best Buy.
Best Buy. Dang.
Yeah.
Thought it might have been me.
How appropriate. How appropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The DVD section is foretelling of our future joining of movie reviews, apparently.
Yeah, future collabo.
Our creative collaboration, of course, goes way, way, way back. Because that started
that mainly
with the recording. What the hell was it called?
Well, if we have any Home Alone 2 fans out there, the Talk Boy.
Talk Boy, that's what it was.
The little thing that Macaulay Culkin has that he can speed up or slow down. I mean, that thing, I think I destroyed by using it too much, because it really did, in a way, work like it does in the movie, which was insane. And we made these goofy ass
weird
radio show, talk show things with the Talk Boy, just playing around with our voices and things like that. And,
you know, make fart jokes and laugh hysterically.
who doesn't love a good fart joke?
You know,
I think that's the basis of our years of friendship is the common denominator, which is the fart joke.
The fart joke is timeless.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny because we did that back when we were like, 10 and 7.
Yeah, and now we still find it that says a lot.
We did, first we re-edited scenes from Batman Begins. Fart jokes again. Coming back, another reference to fart jokes.
There's a theme.
We re-edited from the based on the Farting Preacher videos that are online.
And now listen to this. You go a little further. You get the one, God's for you. You get, He's with you. And then the last biggie, God's in you. Whew, man. But life and joy and the nature of God. Oh, hallelujah.
That's right.
Just endlessly laughed at those. So we took scenes from Batman Begins. And
most notably, well, there were a couple of them that were pretty good.
My favorite is the one in the car.
In the car with the slapping.
With Katie Holmes. The look she gives.
Your father would be ashamed.
That's hilarious.
I'm not one of your good people, Rachel.
What do you mean?
But after that's sort of the beginning of the editing that we did.
Yeah. And that was practice for me because that's when I was in the trenches of editing stuff for school and learning about that. It was learning the software.
But then, I don't know, it was probably the next summer we had the idea of doing an actual skit-based video show.
And
Vid TV.
Vid.
Andy and David. And Vid. That's how it works.
I mean, you wrote everything. I mean, I really, at the time I was in school, I was just kind of like, Andy, do whatever you want. And we'll get together and film it, and I'll edit it and put whatever effects or whatever. But you literally wrote everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I was a little too creatively bankrupt at that point because school was stressing me out so much.
And we got better with time. You know, started out pretty small with just you, me, and Steph doing that.
That's
that
right.
very first episode.
The procrastinator.
The procrastinator and the kung fu thing. Obviously, I love martial arts, so the little overdubbed parody of old kung fu films,
like Bruce Lee stuff.
Hey, it's you. Nice to see you again.
Hey, it's you. I never did like you.
I implore you to reconsider.
You, sir, are a jackass. Haha.
Play catch with me. Okay, I'm gonna throw this ball to you. Get the ball. You can't throw it. I'll throw the ball to you. You get the ball. Ball to you. Ready? 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 Here it comes.
Well, it grew from there.
It did. We did Vid TV Season 1, Season 2.
Season 2 was fun because, you know, after having the first one and having like all the sort of random little things that you would do, and, you know, that was when we did that Star Wars parody.
Yeah.
It was fun because then you had that, and then it's like, okay, how can we top ourselves? Each one was like us trying to top ourselves.
Wipe them out. All of them.
And again, but you were writing everything. I came up, I think, my contributions were like the graphics, the little fix it and post kind of things, the opening theme, the Shaft parody, which was
that was good.
I thought that was very fun.
That was a good opening.
That was very fun.
And then we tried our hand at a short film.
Yes.
Last One Standing that I wrote. Sort of
the kind of Survivor.
The Running Man Battle Royale mix that I threw together. Battle Royale being something I'm going to be reviewing. So we did that short film that obviously nothing really happened with because I didn't know how to direct worth a damn. And again, there's a lot of broken pieces about that. I mean, it was a fun experiment, and I learned a lot about editing and directing and filming and lining up shots and stuff. But when you just rely on people that are not getting paid, they're just basically your friends or coworkers
going out into a woodsy kind of area
to kind of do this stuff. I mean, we all basically sucked at acting.
But yeah, that was a learning experience. I mean, again, that was all your project.
Yeah, you just edited for me basically.
Yeah.
And special effect, sound effects and all that. You did everything like that for me. But that was an interesting project. And Vid Season 2 we did, and then we had a little bit of time where you didn't come back down to Cincinnati so much, so I did Vid 3 without you.
Man, I really love jalapenos.
Yeah, me too. Hey, who the hell is that?
Oh, God!
Jalapenos, stupid jackass! Respect the culture!
And, we did Vid 4 in Dayton.
See, now that was a little bit like, okay, I'm out of school. I don't really have much on my plate right now, and I went nuts with that thing.
You did.
That was
awesome opening. So
Yeah,
just
that
awesome opening.
That was a lot of work. But it was while I was doing it, that was very fun. I learned a lot with that one. And this time out, of course, you wrote all the live action stuff, but I really wanted it to be very mixed media stuff. So I kind of surprised you guys by going off on my own and writing, trying my hand for the first time, writing some of my own little comedy skits to be animated, because I think I had a little bit, and I think I still do in a way, have a little bit of a mindset for animation than I'm more thinking an idea that I can animate than I can gather up some people and film.
Right.
You've always been like
is
that.
hard.
Yeah.
It is really,
and I guess
I cannot stress that enough. It is really hard to organize a group of people to film something live, and that's why I basically have turned to this, because I wanted to do something.
That's another thing. It always seemed to stress you out because, either the shooting wouldn't go completely right or somebody couldn't show up. So I was just like, I need to be able to do something where I can, depend on myself.
Basically. Mm-hmm. That's what this has become for both of us. Mm-hmm. This is my now sort of creative project, so to speak, where I get to be a little goofy in front of the camera, talk about something I love. And
it's pretty awesome.
I'm glad I'm editing this, because I would be afraid of what you might do to me.
You shouldn't. Oh, what about what you're going to do to me? How can I trust you?
That's true.
I got worms. Welcome to the behind the scenes DVD scene shelf.
Don't let me do it.
And let it be.
Really, David?
Uh-huh.
I used to watch them with my mom a lot, then sort of branched out and, watch them on my own a hell of a lot. I started introducing my friends. I mean, that's probably where the whole, good thing with this show is I've been doing stuff like this just on my own.
I have
just
too.
Here, you gotta watch this. It's so cool.
I was kind of known myself as the movie guy in high school.
Yeah.
I was kind of, I mean, the people who knew me, I was kind of the go-to, like, is this any good, or blah, 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 this or that, and I think usually I would be able to tell them that because, I hadn't seen everything at that point.
We used to work at the movie theater separately. Mm-hmm. We each worked at a movie theater, and I put in, 6-7 years total at movie theater, so I got free movies and watched them all the time.
I worked at a theater for 3 months.
You know what? Yours doesn't count.
Yeah,
yours doesn't count.
It doesn't really hold up to that many years.
I'm not gonna mention that again because you suck.
On the weekends only.
Yeah, it's like 6 years, man.
Yeah,
6 years. So that's where my movie posters. I got most of them from that, and the other movie paraphernalia, the standees and banners that I have on the other side.
You got the G.I. Joe.
Yeah, I got that. Even though I didn't like either movie, really. I got that because it has a ninja on it. Who the hell doesn't like ninjas?
I love ninjas.
Exactly. If you didn't, I'd kick you the hell out of my basement.
I like Ninja Turtles.
That
was another thing.
Ninja Turtles. That was another movie. In our youth, we didn't have a whole lot of movies in common, I don't think. Like, we had Ninja Turtles, eventually Star Wars, Independence Day, Mortal Kombat, the movie.
Mortal Kombat just as a thing was huge.
My love of foreign films probably does go back to, like, Mortal Kombat with the martial arts.
Yours goes back to martial arts and that kind of stuff, I think. Yeah, I remember you've always been into that kind of stuff. Looking back on the Mortal Kombat movie.
Yes.
Now, I'm saying this with all due respect for it. I own the thing on Blu-ray.
Yes.
But looking back on it, what do you? Does it have the same impact as? I personally think I like it better than Street Fighter.
Yes, it had some humor. It had decent fighting. It still, I think, was a good enough movie, and I would still watch it again today. I do own it.
Oh, sure, yeah. I watched it not too long ago, honestly. But that was the 90s. I mean, I think Mortal Kombat mixed with things like, for me, Power Rangers, making it
most
more
people
kid.
didn't even translate that to Asian cinema. Like, they didn't say, "Oh, this is good. Let me find more and go to Asian cinema," like I did.
Right.
What is it with America and Hollywood? And they can't execute a good martial arts scene. Well, they've gotten better, a lot better. There's some really, really good ones out there, but.
Well, like what you even said in your first episode about the quick cutting. That's a really bad trend.
I hate that so much. It just takes away from the. It's like, well, I don't even. Who's hitting who? I don't even understand. Where
did that start?
I have no idea. I don't know how long that's been going on, but it really. I think. I'm theorizing that they use it to cover up the fact
that real actors are being trained how to fight. Like, I think The Matrix is what did that. It was like, now it's required that the actor is the one fighting. And I think The Matrix kind of spearheaded that, but The Matrix...
They did not do the quick cut stuff. You had The Matrix that came out. Then came out things like Batman Begins, which, as far as I know, Christian Bale did a lot of his fighting, didn't he?
He did way more stunt work than Michael Keaton ever did.
Well, so do tell your inspiration, why you started this. Go.
As I was working on some of my projects that I was like, hey, I want to put these on YouTube, have people watch them, it'll be a fun time.
Well, but isn't the Dork Knight the jerk-off?
Hello, Chad.
Yeah, nice ride.
Hey, thanks. You know, I was gonna say the same thing about you guys, except yours could use a little improving.
How's that?
Trick or treat, douchebags!
I started to watch things like The Angry Video Game Nerd, and the Nostalgia Critic was more, I think, the one that connected with me more, obviously, because I'm more of a movie fan than I am a gamer. But anyway, so I liked the Nostalgia Critic because it was kind of like a highlights version of Mystery Science Theater. You take a movie and you're not watching the whole movie, he's just kind of summarizing it as he goes, pointing out the bad parts about it. And I guess to me, going in front of the camera and talking about a movie just looked fun, but it turned out that there are a lot of people who do the same exact thing he does. So I was like, okay, if I want people to watch my stuff, how do I make it different? And I'm not saying like, oh, brilliant, you come up with a show about loving movies. No, I'm not saying I'm the first one that did that, but there's already enough hate on the internet anyway for movies that why add to that? Why tout yourself as somebody who loves movies if you're going to do nothing but make fun of them? You're going to turn it into a show. Like, if you're going to make a show like the Nostalgia Critic, you're going to make it a chore for yourself to watch a bad movie on purpose so you can write an episode about it.
Right.
That didn't interest me. I'll leave it up to those guys.
As we said earlier, whether it makes the cut or not, was that, I used to show movies to people all the time. I'd be like, oh, check this movie out that you've never heard of. Mm-hmm. And typically they were foreign films, but there's other ones like Equilibrium, that most people haven't heard of. I love that movie.
Which is a great movie.
But, I did that with foreign films too. Mm-hmm. Way back when, obviously before this.
You've always had a head up on me because you've always had a whole shelf of movies that not to say that I'm not against foreign movies at all. I think the ones that I've seen I like. It's just that I guess I'm just not as familiar with those. I'm not steeped in the other cultures as much to know about them.
Just about finding out, and it took a lot of blind buys when Best Buy used to have a lot more foreign films.
Yeah.
I would just walk down the aisles.
I remember that.
And, look at the DVD of something I've never heard of. Mm-hmm. But I'd be like, oh, this looks cool. And I got a lot of great finds out of it, and I got some crappy ones, but I got a lot of great finds out of that I never would have otherwise found. And then, of course, the internet started becoming huge.
That helps.
So I did all that, foreign film exposure way, way, way back when, in the early 2000s. And then, we did our video projects together. Mm-hmm. And then, you had the review show idea that you you told me about, and I was like, well, it could work if it's entertaining, basically. And it turned out to be. And
I like it.
it was about that time I was really struggling with Anvid TV, and I tried to do that mockumentary short film.
Right.
That it was becoming so difficult for me to organize these things and get everybody together, and it was stressful, and all the work I'd put in, and then all of a sudden people wouldn't show up, or whatever, and it just wouldn't work how I wanted it to, and I would be disappointed.
And I think even after doing the last Andy TV, which was fun to do, I guess to me, after spending a long time on it and having really, for the most part, just the people who helped film it watch all of that work, it was a little discouraging for me as well. I mean, I know you would try to spread it out as much as possible.
Yeah,
but then you would post it on YouTube, and that's the problem. I mean, there are just times when original ideas on YouTube are just kind of like, they don't go anywhere.
My idea, of course, started out as Kung Fu Corner with a K. So changed from martial arts to foreign films in general to give me more options and a wider audience, potentially. Because if you're not into martial arts films, why would you watch the reviews?
You're bridging a gap between, I think, America and everybody else. I think what's cool is that so far you are making a show where you can kind of be like, hey, Americans, there's no reason why you can't like this, because there are so many parallels that you can find in our cinema and a lot of things that our cinema was inspired by.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
I can bust them out pretty darn quick, which Dave knows. I mean, I do work a full-time job.
Yes.
40 hours a week, Monday through Friday.
Whereas I freelance, I make a decent amount of money, but it's not at a full-time job.
And this for me is definitely a spare time thing. I would love to do it full-time, but it's just not a reality.
Yeah.
And so for me, the sort of turnaround time has to be a little quicker. I mean, I could technically bust one out every single week, but that's be all I was doing in my spare time.
Starting with a script, like writing it.
Yeah. Writing doesn't take all that long. If I have to rewatch the movie again to review it.
Oh yeah, I think that's important.
And then do the review, which maybe an hour to write, doesn't take that long. Have to do some research sometimes about trivia or actors' names and all that.
Obviously, I do research myself, and because that's kind of the backbone of my reviews.
I don't do that stuff as much.
I just think that kind of fascinates me, especially if I'm talking about a movie that's a little older. I just kind of like looking at it as sort of a scrapbook or a time capsule of when it was made, of sorts.
My reviews are basically a review. I do go over extra stuff. Yes. I go over things the actors have done sometimes. I go over anything I feel might be just relevant or interesting trivia, which is interesting to me. Doesn't mean everybody really gives a shit. But like the whole In the Raid where the guy that plays Jaka ended up getting his part because he sent a Facebook message to the director. Congratulations on the first movie. Yeah, but that opened the
door for a pretty good gag.
It did. I did like that.
Your videos are definitely more intentionally funny.
Gareth, I'm serious. You should hire me. I know you're watching this, obviously, right? You're a fan, but just totally hire me.
Yeah. First episode, already a fan.
So, I mean, yours are more in-depth explorations of everything around the film, and mine's just more an actual just review, my thoughts on the film, some trivia, some historical facts, maybe.
But I like that because yours are easier to watch.
Yeah, mine.
I'm like, would I watch this? When I'm making one, it's like, would I sit here and watch this because it's so long? I think the reason why I decided to do it like that was because, again, I want to try and talk about the movie. I want to make an ultimate portrait of a movie where I don't give it all away.
But it's a fun process. I film maybe takes me 30 minutes to film my review. And then I edit that down to 10 minutes or less typically, plus the video capture of the film, and all in all, I don't know, maybe 8-hour process to get an episode done. Spaced out amongst many days, usually. A couple weeks, possibly. 8 to 10 hours, let's say that. That's my guesstimate. I've never really timed myself.
I don't know. There's just something about, maybe because I'm a little self-conscious about my writing, I like to write something and let it sit for a little while, because inevitably I'm going to come back to it in a couple days, and it's going to sound like I'm writing it and I'm going, oh, this is amazing, oh, it's going to change the world. I come back 3 days later and it's like, what the hell was I on?
I will say there is a time lapse between when I write it and when I actually film it, and usually I do reread it at least one more time and possibly make changes.
Yeah.
So that definitely does happen. It's not just, oh, I'm written, I'm going to go down and film it now.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And of course I film like 4 at a time.
Yeah, you do.
So I spend a couple hours and just film 4 episodes worth of dialogue.
Whereas I literally work on 1 episode at a time.
Yeah.
My process, again, the biggest difference is that I do take the artsier approach, but that's because I think it depends on our different skill sets.
Right.
You're focused more on the writing, and that's perfect. But I guess for me, again, going back to the animated TV stuff, always I've been fascinated since college with some of that, like After Effects and some of those kind of motion graphics and animation and things like that. So I wanted to basically take this show and have it be a portfolio piece for myself. I'd be like, this is what I can do. And this show, every time I do a new movie, there are times when I'm teaching myself something new with every episode.
And sometimes I make changes on the fly. Like, I'll be reading the script, and I'll be like, or filming it, and I'll be like, this doesn't sound right. I don't like the way this sounds, and I'll just make up something new right on the spot or cut it out altogether.
I record everything as a voiceover so that I can edit to that, and then I don't do anything in front of. See, I guess I write knowing what's going to go in front of the camera and what isn't.
And I don't.
See that? Yeah.
That's a big difference.
Yeah.
I edit on the fly as well. I'm like, well, I don't like the face I'm making here. I'm going to put a video clip. Like that's typically what it is. Either that or breaking up a take. Sometimes there are times I do know. Like when I'm writing it, I'm like, I'm going to put this scene right here. But a lot of times I just throw in scenes to break up the takes. But for the most part, I capture a whole hell of a lot of footage from the movie. And then as I'm editing and I want to drop a scene in, I'll scan through the footage and be like, this looks good. And I'll just grab it and drop it in.
Now that is also what I do.
Okay, so we have that in common.
I capture the whole movie. No matter whether I'm doing one of my full reviews or my mini reviews, just because I think it's easier to just hit the capture button, let the movie play out, instead of going to look for stuff. So I do the whole movie. I have the whole movie, all the footage right there to pull from, and I'll just literally kind of just be like, okay, random.
Why not? Let's throw this in here.
Sometimes you throw some random clips together and they really just don't look right, so you can have to rearrange. But I'll occasionally have like a little tiny clip of the movie itself with the audio as sort of maybe like a little exclamation point at the end of something. Like say something, make my point, and then have either the movie clip reflect what I'm saying, or
which I do as well.
Yeah.
So, probably about time.
That about wraps it up. I hope you enjoyed this little peek into, a little bit of us. You've been watching our videos, and we thank you for it, and just thought you'd like to get to know us a little bit more. So,
yeah, a little bit of our process, a little bit of who we are as people, where we've been, and
where we're going. Hopefully, speaking of where we're going, I have my 25th episode coming out soon, and I don't really want to reveal a little too much about it yet. It's kind of a surprise, but after that, just back to doing what I do, reviewing movies and doing the 90-second mini reviews for those with the shorter attention spans, and so
yeah, and I'll be carrying on with episode 5. Be coming out sometime after this. I have no idea when, but that'll be a pretty big episode. I think it's a movie that a lot of people have heard of.
Kind of heard of.
It's in some respect. So I'd like to see what y'all think about it.
Yeah.
But then, carrying on with my foreign films,
Of course.
I have a long, long list to go through. So tough choices to make.
We both have long lists, so let's get to them.
Yes.
So, all right. Well, I guess that'll about wrap it up. So
That'll do it for this time.
And that was Behind the DVD Shelf.
Be excited as we debate about historical timeline.
Like when the first Wendy's opened.
I think that was back in 1850.
Wow. That Dave Thomas sure lasted a while, didn't it?
He did. He was a vampire. You didn't know that?
Till next time.
Till next time.
This one's going back on the DVD shelf.
I am. It's where my home is. It's very comfortable. A little tight. I'm a little bit of a big guy, so it's a little tight there, but I make it work.
You should see him sitting on my shelf. It's funny as hell.
You're such a jerk. And here's my ninja cat, Havoc.
Hi.
I'm not going to wave goodbye.